Some say the perfect build, one that combines synergies between loadout, subclass, and mods, is fun to play, and is effective in any type of content, is impossible to achieve. What you are seeing before you today is not an illusion, so stay tuned, as with the right setup, you too can run one of the most mind-blowing builds Destiny 2 has ever seen. These intro clips, as well as much of the gameplay seen throughout the video, were captured live at twitch.tv/PixarDonks. Come stop by to see how I create these videos live. What's up guys, my name is PixarDonks and welcome to the channel. I play Destiny 2 on Xbox, and my goal with this channel is to provide you guys with creative builds, tips specific to my fellow console gamers, as well as cover niche topics I haven't seen anyone else cover. I hope to provide a unique take on Destiny 2 from the point of view of a console player, as I feel as though most content creators within the community are currently located on PC. I play quite a bit of Destiny and follow the game closely, so I'll try my best to make sure any content here will be on topics I have yet to be seen covered elsewhere. That's it for the intro. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop into the video. My next video was originally going to be on the Hunter subclass. However, while messing around with some of my little used weapons on stream, I stumbled upon a combination of exotics that were absolutely made to be paired together. The Tommy's Matchbook auto rifle and the loreley Splendor helm not only provide some of the coolest cosmetics this game has to offer, but their exotic perks synergize together so perfectly that moving forward, I might find it impossible to use one without the other. When paired with a few armor mods, as well as the Solar Titan subclass, this build is not only extremely powerful and fun to play, but also stands to improve when Solar 3.0 is eventually added into the game. In today's video, I will begin by covering the weapons used in this build, as well as the destination or activity each can be earned through upon completion. Moving on, I will cover the subclass options, stat distribution, and armor mods you should be on the lookout for when crafting this build for yourself. Finally, I will let some background gameplay of myself using this build play out, as I discuss any synergies and tips you should be on the lookout for. Let's hop into the build. Let's take a look at our Solar Titan build. This build will revolve around the exotic helmet, the loreley Splendor helm, the exotic auto rifle, the Tommy's Matchbook, as well as the status effect known as healing. Starting with our kinetic weapon of choice, the Pardon Our Dust, this legendary grenade launcher can roll both blinding grenades and auto-loading holster, one of the most powerful combinations of perks in the entire game. This allows us a layer of safety as we fire a shot, blind any enemies, and then switch to another weapon to clean up the kills. This weapon was added in the 30th anniversary pack and can be earned through Xur's treasure hoard on Eternity. Our solar energy weapon and exotic of choice, the Tommy's Matchbook, is a unique 100 round magazine auto rifle, which, like many others this season, benefited massively from the exotic primary buff. Its exotic perk, Ignition Trigger, overheats the gun after firing 20 bullets in a row, slowly burning you but also doubling its damage. The burn damage is negated a bit by its intrinsic perk, Heat Sink, which causes you to take less overheat damage if you hip fire. The catalyst for this weapon, which I have not yet completed, increases the speed at which your health recovers when Ignition Trigger is active. Tommy's Matchbook was the Season Pass weapon added in Season of the Worthy. Moving on to our power weapon of choice, the legendary solar rocket launcher, Hidden's Vengeance. This weapon can again roll the perk auto-loading holster, which allows us to fire single shots and then swap to another weapon. A rocket launcher is great for long-range burst DPS, allowing us to spray down adds with our auto rifle. This weapon can be obtained through the free-to-play Vault of Glass raid and drops from the 4th and 5th encounters. Finally, our exotic helmet of choice, the loreley Splendor helm, comes with the exotic perk Cauterizing Flame, which causes a healing effect from sunspots, as well as creates one upon barricade placement or becoming critically wounded. I cannot stress how well this exotic works in synergy with the rest of this build, and the perk allows for endgame content survivability. I never really found a reason to use Tommy's Matchbook before the addition of this helmet, and it truly makes me look at the weapon in a new light. The loreley Splendor helm can be chosen as your reward for completing the legendary Witch Queen campaign, or through completing a solo master or legend lost sector. Our subclass of choice will be Bottom Tree's Solar, as this will allow us to take advantage of its main perk, Sol Invictus, where ability kills restore health, leaving a sunspot behind. This is one aspect of the health regeneration taking place in this build, in addition to that provided by the loreley splendor helm. Sunspots are extremely powerful and enable the entire rest of the build. Not only do they heal us and damage enemies, but also cause our grenade and melee abilities to regenerate faster, our weapons to deal more damage, as well as our super to last longer, thanks to Sun Warrior. Endless Siege allows hammers thrown in our super to spawn additional sunspots, while our melee ability, Mortar Blast, causes an explosive AoE effect that sets enemies on fire. Before covering armor mods, there are a few things to note about the stat distribution you should be targeting when running this build. As always, try and have at least 80 recovery, and then spend the rest of your points on either discipline or strength, depending on personal preference. Both our grenade and melee have the ability to cause sunspots, which in turn recharge our abilities, so focusing on one is almost the same as focusing on both. Taking a look at our helmet, an exotic of choice, I have set it to the solar energy type in order to slot Well of Life and Ashes to Assets. Well of Life will provide significant health regeneration for 10 seconds upon picking up a solar well, and we should have our super quite often with the amount of grenades being thrown, thanks to Ashes to Assets. Harmonic Siphon will allow both Tommy's Matchbook and Hizen's Vengeance to create orbs on multi-kills. Moving on to our gauntlets, I have set them to the Stasis energy type in order to slot Grenade Kickstart, which will refund a portion of our grenade upon use. Font of Might gives our solar weapons a 25% damage boost when we pick up a solar well, and Overload Auto Rifle allows Tommy's Matchbook to melt through Overload champions. Our chest has been set to the solar energy type in order to slot the mod Explosive Wellmaker. This mod allows any enemy killed by explosive damage from our melee, grenade launcher, or rocket launcher to spawn a solar well. This allows our melee to be particularly powerful, as when combined with melee Wellmaker, each kill will spawn 2 solar wells. Sliding down to our legs, it does not matter which energy type these are set to, as we will be running Elemental Ordnance, allowing our grenades to spawn solar wells, in addition to Absolution, lowering our ability cooldowns with each orb of power. Finally, our mark has been set to solar in order to slot 2 bomber mods, which will give us a large chunk of grenade energy when we place our barricade. Melee Wellmaker allows us to spawn solar wells when we punch an enemy, and if you have Artifice Armor, you can even slot Inferno Whip as a 5th mod to stun unstoppable champions with your charged melee. That is all the information you need to set up this build. I will now let some background footage from the opening of the free-to-play Vault of Glass raid play out as I note some of the key points to notice when trying this build for yourself. Placing down a rally barricade not only provides you with cover, reload speed, stability, and range, but now also drops a sunspot and heals you thanks to loreley splendor helm. This all but negates the need to activate heat sink by hip firing, allowing you to aim down sights as normal. The need to hip fire was one of the biggest drawbacks of this gun for many people, but the healing provided by this build counteracts that nicely. Be aware that you might not have your barricade in situations you might be used to having it in if you recently took critical damage, as while this will drop a sunspot, it will also consume your barricade charge. Finally, don't be afraid to hold down the trigger in between transferring your spray of bullets between enemies, as the damage from the bullets missed will be made up for by keeping ignition trigger procced. That's all for today's video. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end. I hope you found this guide useful, and I hope to see flaming headed titans spraying and praying with Tommy's Matchbook in the near future. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for any and all future content, and comment down below. What new exotic armor piece this season is your favorite? Until next time, PixarDonks has left the building.